What's going on, guys? It's Brandon back here again today for another BFR, a video that's going up late because my camera would not work for some reason. Game 33 versus the Seattle Kraken was a 7:30 game on December 19th, and guess what? The Hawks have won 3 in a row. Anders Sorensen has completely turned this team around. The Hawks are now 3-0 in their last 3 games. They beat Seattle 3-1. They go to 12-19-2. They're evading that 20th loss by just a smidge. Mrazek is off the injured reserve. He was playing backup. Kamesa was sent back down to the AHL. Shots were 28-24 Seattle. Hits were 24-16 Seattle. Faceoffs 36-25 Seattle. Power play, Chicago goes 0 for 2. Seattle goes 0 for 3. Soderblom saves 27 out of 28. And Decord saves 21 out of 24. It was Jeremy Roenick honor night, so they did his whole ceremony before the game. He's probably going to have his number retired within the next few years for sure. My dad's favorite player of all time. I have a Roenick jersey. That's my dad's. But Teravainen was also sick for this game, and he played with minor illnesses, and he didn't look out of place. And we'll talk about streaky players right now for this video later on. But Teravainen is definitely going to be mentioned. And bigger news surrounding this game. There was several trades made the night before, or 2 nights before, including Capo Kakko becoming a member of the Seattle Kraken. I saw his first NHL goal in person with the New York Rangers, and now he's in Seattle for Will Borgen, a 3rd and a 6th in this upcoming draft. So Kakko, he had a crossbar in this game, but overall hasn't made a huge impact yet. But Seattle does have a good history with reclamation projects. In the first, I noticed Kakko was on the first line. With Eberle out, he slid into that spot. And nothing else happened. There were no penalties, no goals, so we head right into the second period, where Roenick was in the booth. He was telling stories, and it was a great experience listening to him tell stories. 17:58, it's a Seattle penalty to Mahura for tripping, which is killed. Dickinson and Tolvanen both collide. Both looked like they were in a serious pain, but both got up and both kept playing. So that's good to make sure no one was hurt. And Kakko hits the post. That's the post I mentioned. 9:06 then, Chicago scores first. It's a tap-in deflection from who else but the streakiest goal scorer on the Hawks right now, Ilya Mikheyev's 5th of the season, 3 straight games with a goal, and assisted by Teravainen, who Mikheyev and Teravainen have had points on the last 4 of 5 Blackhawks goals at this point. So phenomenal from them. Mikheyev's finally starting to get it together with the Hawks. Teravainen's putting it back together where he was at the start of the season, so very good for them. And I believe that deflected off one of his feet, I believe, and he was on his knees when he scored that goal, so that was even more impressive. It's 1-0 Hawks. Roenick said then Roenick told a story about how Lucas Reichel changed to the number 73 this season because for Roenick, and then Martinez also didn't take the number 27 for Roenick, even though Roenick told him to take it. So I didn't even know about that, so that was very respectful of Reichel, respectful of Martinez. And although I really don't care too much about the honoring number thing, I think it's kind of silly. I mean, yeah, no one ever wears the number ever again. Personally, not one of my favorite traditions, but you know what? It's very respectful either way. I see what it's talking about when it goes into it. 5:06, Chicago penalty to Crevier for delay of game, and I thought, oh boy, Seattle's about to kick off, aren't they? Then they showed the replay, and it turns out it went off Sprong, but none of the officials caught it, so they still had it. And then 2:29, it's a Seattle penalty to Tanev for interference, which is also killed. And at this point, they said 31 straight penalty kills, 12 games without allowing a power play goal. The Hawks have, I believe, the 4th best PK in the league. So, you know what? We take those. 2:22, Chicago penalty to Nazar for tripping. That kind of cancels out the Tanev penalty. There was only 7 seconds of it, so 1:53 of 4-on-4. What does this say? Oh, Nazar should have shot on a chance. That was not pass. Schwartz is saved. Tolvanen is saved on a one-timer. The game was becoming back and forth overall, especially when it got to 4-on-4. The game really opened up. Shots were going back and forth. Seattle, I thought, had a bit of an edge going near the end of the second period, but at 1:57, chaos ensues. There's a scrum that breaks out after Stevenson kind of just puts Murphy in a headlock and sucker punches him. Knocks his helmet off, knocks his gloves off. Murphy, without any stuff on, is going towards the bench, or trying to, is yapping at Stevenson. Vince Dunn comes out of nowhere and just starts beating on Murphy out of nowhere. It's like, what the heck's going on here? And but after all that's settled, somehow Murphy has a double minor for roughing, even though he just got attacked. Dunn has a penalty for roughing. Stevenson has nothing. And at that point, it's one of the most bizarre periods I've ever seen in the league, because there's all these stories going on. There's stuff that should not be happening going on, and then you have this going on. It was just wild. So both Murphy and Dunn have double minors. I still don't know how Murphy got a penalty for that, but going into the third, 19-19, it's a Chicago penalty to Crevier for high sticking. That is killed off. Stevenson is saved, Tanev is saved, and at 13:54, Ilya Mikheyev scores again. His 6th of the season, 2nd of the game, once again from Teravainen, and Bertuzzi was the one who set that play up. He's the one who passed it up to Teravainen. It's 2-0 Hawks. 8:34, Seattle gets one back, however, it's Ryker Evans. He's one of my personal favorite young defensemen in the league. Good to see him getting on the board, even though it is against the Hawks. 4th of the season from Bjorkstrand and Montour to make it 2-1. And then at 4:49, we get a first career NHL goal. It's open net, just perfectly placed shot from Nolan Allen as Decord can't get back over. First of the season, first in his career, the 31st ever 32nd overall pick in the first round that belonged to Chicago. It's Donato and Murphy to make it with the assist to make it 3-1. Allen has been improving every game, and it looks like that could have been a hit for the management team at the time, which I believe that was still Stan Bowman making the draft pick. So I'll give credit to Stan Bowman. This guy looks like he's the real deal so far. As do many of the defensemen that have been selected. Crevier hasn't looked out of place, aside from the stupid penalties this game. The delay of game one sticks out. Phillips, when he's come up, has been all right. He's not been the brightest spot. Kaiser's been all right. But I look toward that first round pick, and Allen has looked like a good pick. Seattle has an empty net at 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Dickinson hits the post. Bedard also hits the post on the empty net. And he also lays a good hit. So, yeah, that would really conclude the game. The Hawks have won 3 in a row. And now they go to face Calgary at 3 o'clock today, Central Time. 3 o'clock game on today, which is Saturday. It's in Calgary. I'll be at work, so I'll not be able to see the start of it. Probably not the end of it either. But, oh well, I'll see highlights on my phone, I'm sure. And if they can win 4 in a row here, then they could really get themselves back into the conversation of not being in the hunt for a playoff spot, but seeing that this rebuild is really coming along, because at this time last year, I believe the stat came on the screen saying they hadn't had a 3-game win streak since February of 2023. So, that's over a season ago. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you all so much for watching this video. Leave your comments down below on recent Hawks draft picks. Who do you think are the ones that are going to pan out? Who do you think are the ones that are eventually going to be moved? And who do you think is just not going to work out in this in the organization, or might just end up finding work overseas? Just an interesting topic, one we don't talk about, I think, enough as Blackhawks fans. We talk about our amazing prospect pool that we have coming up in the rebuild. We don't really talk about which of those we think are going to plan out, other than the first-round picks, and even those have no guarantee. Anyway, guys, once again, thank you all so much for watching, and I shall see you all in the next one. Have a good one.